Hey guys, it's the Bearded Red Viking. I hope you're all well. I thought I would finally record my entry to Metal Marty Max contest. He's recently reached 400 subscribers and has started a contest asking us to show our albums which feature skulls on the artwork. He's a big fan of skulls, as most people are involved in metal. He seems to have quite a collection. I recommend going and checking out his channel. Congratulations Marty on reaching the 400, well deserved. It's a great channel, a lot of updates, a lot of videos, a lot of content coming from Marty. Absolutely fantastic guy, brilliant channel, and I highly recommend checking it out. I will link his channel at the end of the video, so make sure you go and have a look at that if you don't know him already, which I'm sure you probably do. He's a well-loved member of the metal corner of the vinyl community. Anyway, let's get on with it. So first of all, I have White Wizard with Over the Top. That's what's playing in the background, if you can hear it. And as you can see, biker dude, and it's just a skull for an head. Next up, we've got Testament with their classic debut album, The Legacy. Skull there on the front, as you can see. I'm not going to talk about these for too long because there's quite a few of them. Being a metalhead, there's quite a few albums with skulls on the cover. So we'll just get on with it. This is Vader with Impressions in Blood. Again, as you can see, a lot of glare there. I'll take it out of the booklet out of the case, so you can actually see. Dude with the red skull there. Reminds me a little bit of Marvel. Next up is Exodus. It's a double header with the Atrocity Exhibition, Exhibit A and Exhibit B. As you can see, this lady's got a lot of skulls around her arms and her head. And then we've got a skeleton on the front with various items. It's got an Uzi, a grenade, a machete, a Bible, another Uzi. He's up to some mischief. Then we've got Gajira with the Way of All Flesh, again full skeleton, including the skull. This is a slightly less known band called Hate Sphere, with the album, I believe, yeah, Ballet of the Brute. I saw these supporting, I think it was The Haunted, about 10-15 years back. Really aggressive sort of European thrash band. I'd recommend checking them out. But there you go. Skull, if you can see that. Funnily enough, got a skull behind me on my logo there. This is Catatonia with a bird skull. Vomiting black smoke. This is Dead End Kings. More skull action. Hypocrisy with Catch-22. You might not be able to see that very well there actually. It's kind of in the, there we go, you can see it better there. It's not one of their better albums, but it's got a couple of decent tunes on it, one of which has got an absolute monster of a bouncer riff. Can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it's not their best album, but it's not bad. Creator, absolute classic, Pleasure to Kill. Plenty of skulls to look at on there. And then we've got Lamb of God, who has the palaces burn, with a cow or a bull skull there. Municipal Waste, with the Fatal Feast. Skull in a hazmat suit there, as you can see. And we've got a black metal band, Nalfer. I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not 100% sure. This is the album Harvest. Got a fairly gnarly looking dude there, and a load of skulls around the bottom. And then there's another absolute classic, Napalm Death, Scum, forefathers of grindcore, their debut album. loads of skulls on that. You can see it on the winged bat beast, and then a load of skulls around at the bottom. Next up we've got Heritage by Opeth. Now you probably can't see him because it's a weird lenticular cover there, but they're just at the bottom of the tree. Hopefully you can see them. Really cool artwork, really enjoyable album. Big change for Opeth, obviously. Drop the death metal, gone a bit fusion, jazzy, folky, proggy weirdness, but I still love them. Absolutely great. Then we got At the Gates, Purgatory Unleashed, live at Wacken. A couple of skulls on either side of the logo there. Slightly different version on the CD itself, in red rather than black. Then we got Mastodon with Emperor of Sand. This dude that represents cancer there on the front cover. Again, as always with Mastodon, amazing artwork. And we've got The Apostasy by Behemoth. All the skulls around the bottom. He's got a bit of a weird skull head himself, this godlike figure with the multiple arms. We've got Black Tusk, bit of a stonery, sludgy kind of band, with a skull on her head there. What's this album called? It's a while since I've listened to this. Taste the Sin. It's actually a really good album. John Dyer Baisley artwork, as you can tell, pretty distinctive, the guy from Baroness. Then we've got Celtic Frost to Omega Therion, a couple of skulls there on either side of the absolute classic Jesus Slingshot. Brilliant artwork. H.R. Geiger. Dead Cross. This is a Mike Patton project. Savage, ferocious, brilliant. Skulls. Deicide with the Stench of Redemption. A number of skulls down at the bottom there, as you can see. Very good album this. I think it's highly underrated. I think it was Mr. Boulder, James, who featured it recently in one of his videos, and I agree with him entirely. It's massively underrated. It's very different, a lot more melodic in places than some of their other stuff, but I think it just adds to the music. But yeah, it's not one of their most highly rated albums, but I think it's fantastic. Next up, we've got Back from the Abyss, My Orange Goblin. Classic stoner metal vibes. Trying to rush through them here because there's quite a lot, and I realise we're already getting on for time there. Absolute classic, Pantera, Far Beyond Driven. Drill in the skull. Nice. And we got Red Fang with the debut album, Red Fang. Really enjoyable band, really enjoyable album. Good fun, not particularly heavy. I remember seeing them supporting Mastodon a few years ago. He had Russian Circles on who were monstrously heavy, and then Red Fang came on and it seemed very, very light, shall we say. But they're a really good band, I really enjoy them. Just don't put them on after Russian Circles. Then we got Wolfheart, who are a Brazilian melodic death metal band. This is Constellation of the Black Light. Really good band, highly recommend checking them out if you've not heard of them. Solid melodic death metal. Another classic here, Megadeth. P sells, but who's buying? Vic Rattlehead there. Mr. Skull. Nearly there with the CDs now, nearly done. This is Mistress, In Disgust We Trust. Horrible band, earache. Signed band. It's kind of filthy, disgusting, grindy sludge kind of stuff. Really good band. Highly recommend checking them out if you haven't heard them already. Then we got Skeleton Witch, who I've shown before, but this is the Serpents Unleashed album. Again, I think that's very obviously John Dyer Baisley who's done the artwork. And we got a skull, as usual, with Skeleton Witch. And then finally, in terms of the CDs, we've got Lord Dying who were a really good band. Saw them supporting Red Fang at a different show a few years ago. That was the first time I'd heard of them. Really enjoyable. Again, if you're not aware of them, check them out. Got this on Bandcamp. You can probably still get it. Really good band, really good album. I believe this is a self-titled album. No, it isn't. It's called Poisoned Altars. Didn't have any title on the side there, but as you can see, it's on the little spine thing. Right, so that's it for CDs. Next up, we've got vinyl. So we got Metal Massacre. I recently showed this, recently purchased it. The original Metal Massacre reissued. It's not the original actually, it's a reissue of the reissue from 1983. Skulls on that. Toxic Death, Sepulchral Demons. Skull Dude there. Really enjoyable album. I mentioned it before, showing it once in the past. Sort of speed metal, blackened speed metal, thrash metal kind of stuff. Really good fun, high energy, never lets up. About 30 minutes long. Really enjoy it. Highly recommended. And we've got Skeletal Remains, Condemned to Misery, another recent purchase. Flaming skeleton, Skull Dude, and then a bunch of other skulls on the flora, shall we call it, in the background. Then we've got Slayer, Live Undead. There's quite a few Slayer albums that have got skulls on them, but I went for this one because I got it on vinyl and I wanted to show some vinyl. I did have South of Heaven out, but I thought I'd show this instead. Cool artwork of the dudes. Live Undead in the Graveyard. And we've got another absolute classic, one of my favourite albums of all time. Sepultura, Beneath the Remains. Skull made up of all sorts of other bits. We've got a wolf down here, I think that's supposed to be a dice. We've got skulls, I think this might be Galaxy or something up there with smoke coming off it, but it makes a skull. Cool as fuck. Classic album, brilliant album. Then we have only a couple more left now. We've got Good Morning and The Goners. Shown this before, it's not a great album, it's good fun. Just fairly generic psych rock kind of stuff. But I like the artwork, it was a blind buy. Still like the artwork, don't regret buying it. It's a decent listen, don't put it on loads, but yeah. And we've got Mr. Bungle, Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo, with the Easter Bunny skull on it there. Finally, we've got another of my favourite albums of all time, another absolute classic. It's the updated artwork of the debut album from Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. Sure you all know it well. One of my favourites. And the artwork's cool. It's not as cool as the original, which I've also got, but it's a dodgy bootleg, as I've shown you recently. But yeah, an absolute classic. Faultless from start to finish in my opinion. One of the first hard rock albums I ever heard. Possibly the first proper hard rock album I ever heard. And I haven't looked back since. Can't go wrong with that. So, that's me done. It took a little bit longer than I was expecting to. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is my entry for Metal Marty Mac. Thank you very much for the contest. Looking forward to seeing everyone else's entries. I've watched a few, not seen them all yet. If you've not seen his channel before, as I say, check him out. I'll put a link here at the end. And thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. Beardy Red Viking, out.